What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's rebuild, it's time. In 4 days, the Philadelphia Eagles kick off their regular season in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. So I feel like gotta get my first Eagles rebuild in before the season starts because the expectations are so high for this team. Usually, when we're going into a rebuild, it's a bad roster. Sometimes, especially the rebuilds we've done so far, it's a rookie quarterback, the unknown around that position. But when I rebuild my beloved Philadelphia Eagles, the last couple years, and I imagine that trend is going to continue here, even though offensively, we have Jason Kelce's contract that is no longer on the books. Defensively, Hassan Reddick is not here. Fletcher Cox is not here. So there's some expensive players that have gone. But what makes the Philadelphia Eagles such a competitive franchise year in, year out, especially over the last couple of years, is Howie Roseman. He's a known wizard of general managery, and his contracts and finding ways to just keep signing players is awesome in real life, but that does not translate in Madden. The salary cap, you cannot be as creative as Howie Roseman, so usually you got to pay for his sins. And that means the first offseason, you go with the Philadelphia Eagles, 9 times out of 10, you're like $40 million in the red. You got to cut players, you can't re-sign anybody. Honestly, can't re-sign anybody usually in the first couple seasons. I don't know what the state of the salary cap is going to be, but my expectations is that it's not going to be great. So the real challenge it comes to when rebuilding the Philadelphia Eagles is trying to win a Super Bowl with a good roster and trying to keep it all together. Because it is very difficult to keep all of this expensive talent in the same building for 5 seasons. Let's break down this offense. On the left-hand side, we have the heart and soul of the tush push in Mailata and Landon Dixon, absolute beasts. Now, they both got contract extensions this offseason, which for our salary cap situation probably is not going to help, but I'm glad that we got that kind of solidified. We have Cam Jurgens, who has gigantic shoes to fill, replacing the legendary Jason Kelce, who in my opinion is the greatest center of all time. Shout out Mike Webster. But Cam Jurgens was handpicked by Jason Kelce to be his successor, and I think that, alongside the greatest offensive line coach in the NFL right now, is Jeff Stoutland. I believe in Cam Jurgens. I believe in Mekhi Becton, who looked like a franchise tackle for the Jets. Didn't work out there. Came here. We're like, yeah, you could play right guard for us. And Jeff Stoutland, the best O-line coach of the game, is coaching him up. Very excited for the O-line. Then you got Lane Johnson, who's one of the best tacklers in the NFL. We had Dallas Goedert, who I think is closer to a top 5 tight end than he is top 10. Just needs to stay healthy. And he's not injury prone. I swear to God, he misses like 2, 3, 4 games every year, and they're always like this bizarre injury. Like, gets rolled up on, he makes like a diving catch, and like his arm will pop out. Like, just, it's something different. It's not like he's one of those guys that like always struggles with hamstrings or always struggles with something, a reoccurring injury that guys always have their whole career. It's always something different with Goddard. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. The backfield looks great. We get Will Shipley in the draft. Kenny G is solid. And then you steal away Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. That is the big addition that I'm very excited to see. Saquon does have injury concerns, but I think going from playing on the worst field in the NFL 8 times a year to 1, I think that will help. I definitely think that will help. But as always, there are, if we were doing a Giants rebuild, I'd be like, well, Saquon Barkley, can he stay healthy? Hopefully, if he does, he's going to be a good player. And I think that still needs to be applied here. But I love our depth beyond it. And I'm assuming that we're going to get the best of Saquon Barkley. We have A.J. Brown, who's top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, an absolute monster. And Devontae Smith, who, in my biased opinion, firmly biased, this is the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver in the NFL. But much like Dickerson and Mailata, they both just got extensions this offseason. So it goes against pretty rough salary cap situation. But hey, they're under contract. Hopefully we continue to find ways to make it work. We get Jahan Dotson, the former first-round pick from the Commanders, for pennies on the dollar to come in and be our wide receiver 3, which, I mean, I don't know if we'll even have enough money to pay him, but a great player to have. We got Kenny Pickett, who also, I might try to trade him. I think that's why the Philadelphia Eagles have on the roster, because Tanner McKee, firmly the better quarterback, I think, from preseason this year and last year. But there is value on Kenny Pickett, but it all comes down to this man right here, Jalen Hurts. Who, I'm not going to say this in the same regard as people like use it to go against Lamar Jackson. I just drafted Jalen Hurts in my fantasy league, and I said I just got a QB1 and my RB2 in fantasy football. How good he is in the red zone as a runner. Like him and Saquon Barkley, if we get in the 20, what do you do? How do you stop it? I feel like we are going to be absolutely unstoppable again. I wish Madden would have the balls to put the tush push in this game, because I would use that all the time. And I feel like maybe if Philly can win the Super Bowl, that'd be the gimmick. You know, every time it's like there's something big happens, there's like a new gimmick that gets added. You know, like this year it's CMC, so there's more ball carry moves. And the year before that, you had Mahomes with like the dive throw that I don't even really know if that ever existed. So if Philly can go on and win the Super Bowl, maybe, just maybe, in Madden 26, we'll get the tush push added in. Let me flip over to the defensive side of the ball, where we have Vic Fangio running a new scheme. We're going to have our front three here. Milton Williams, very underrated, great athlete, big-time athlete. For those of you that know what the RAS score is coming draft, like Milton Williams has like a 9.8. So underrated player for the Philadelphia. Jordan Davis needs to definitely step his game up a little bit. I'm not ready. I know there's some Eagles fans losing their patience with him a little bit, but I still think there is a plenty of good. He's outstanding. Our defense is drastically better against the run when he's on the field. But for drafting him over, you know, the Kyle Hamiltons of the world, it was kind of on the idea that this guy is a freak, an S-tier athlete at 360 pounds, but he needs to develop like as a complete D-tackle, not just guy that's big body out there, good against the run. You need you to be like a Vita Vea type, where it's like, oh yeah, you can stop the run and you're also going to get 4, 5, 6 sacks a season. Hasn't quite been that. It's going to be a big opportunity there for him this season to prove that. You got Jalen Carter, who I would imagine by the time he's at the end of his rookie contract, he's going to be regarded as the best D tackle in the NFL, or D lineman, I guess. You know, he's kind of, you know, in this scheme a D end, but he's you know, 6'3", 315 pounds. Unfortunately, hit that rookie wall last season, but I think the good showed that he is going to be like freaky good. He is going to be our Fletcher Cox successor, and maybe even then some. He is if you don't watch Eagles football and you're like, oh, I kind of know Jalen Carter, remember the off the field. If you had to say one player, offense or defense, that has the highest ceiling on this Eagles team, I almost think it's easily Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter with that superstar, sky's the limit, and I hope to God he eats in this sim. I'll be very disappointed if he does not. Looking at the rest of the front seven, we got Josh Sweat, who's reliable, nice little pass rusher for us. We got Nolan Smith, who, much like Jordan Davis, some of the fan base is starting to kind of go against, say he's a bust. I mean, you know what? Here's my logic on Nolan Smith. S-tier athlete again out of Georgia. Doesn't have a whole lot of pass rush moves, but he was a second-round pick that we drafted in the first round to get that fifth-year option. That's my gut. If Nolan Smith was a second-round pick, now it stings a little bit because Philly had 2 first-rounder picks that year, and you know you always like to think when you got 2, you know, let's get 2 big starters, 2 contributors right away. But I still think at the end of the day, Nolan Smith was like a second-round big-time athlete that needs to get developed. And if he was a second-round pick, he wouldn't be getting criticized as much as he is now. But because he was a first-rounder and the Georgia Bulldog memes, there's that added pressure. I'm perfectly fine with where he's at with his development because I think he was a second-round pick and we only got him in the first. So we had that 5th-year option, which, again, shows we need that extra year of development on him. Looking at the other side of the line, we got Bryce Huff and Brandon Graham. Got to work as a 1-2 punch. Bryce Huff, nice signing, getting him away from the Jets in free agency. One of those pass rushers that put up big-time numbers as a rotational piece. And clearly, Philly's paying him a bigger contract to game. Like, hey, when you're starting, you're going to put in even better numbers, right? And essentially, you can look at it as like, we got Bryce Huff in a 3rd-round pick, and the Jets got Hassan Reddick, because Howie Roseman saw the writing on the wall that Hassan Reddick was probably going to hold out because he earned and outplayed his current contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. I have zero idea what the perspective of the Jets was in that trade. It's like, all right. Like, it wasn't even like, the only way the whole thing for Jets makes sense is if, like, they thought the Eagles were a bad team. It's like, all right, let's get Hassan Reddick doesn't want to play on a 1 year on a bad team. How about he comes here and plays a 1 year on this great Jets team? We got Aaron Rodgers back. And then he just gets traded there. And they're like, wait, you're not going to pay me? All right, I'm just going to continue to hold out. It's the worst trade I've ever seen in my life. Appreciate the 3rd-round pick. Then on the inside, we got Devin White coming over the Bucks, trying to revive his career just a little bit. I know he's probably going to pop off here in Madden. I don't think we're going to have enough money to pay him, but hopefully it works out in real life. Reports at a training camp he looked legit, pretty legit. I'm not saying legit. Looked like he was playing at an S-tier level with the Bucks like he did off his rookie contract, but it sounds like he looks a little bit better than the pretty much blitzing linebacker that he was for the Bucks last season. We got Kobe Dean, who needs to step up. We have Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the legacy player. I almost feel like that's probably going to be our linebackers. We're going to at least try to make a go of it because I don't see a way that we can re-sign Devin White. At safety, Sidney Brown and James Bradbury. Sidney Brown, the Canadian, so I'm going to show a little bit of bias to have him start. Also, everyone just hates James Bradbury. Bradbury made the switch to safety to try to make the roster, so we'll have him there, but ultimately that is definitely a contract we are eager to get off our books. We bring back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, from the Detroit Lions after 1 year away. He was heart and soul. He was a swagger of this defense. We definitely missed him. One of my favorite players going back to his time in Florida. We have Reed Blankenship, who's a really good safety. I definitely don't know how we can get all these guys on the field, if I'm being honest with you. I almost feel like you need Reed at one side and CJ at another. But I also want Sidney Brown to play, and so they all have higher ceilings than Reed Blankenship, but Reed Blankenship's too good not to play. I don't know. We got to get creative because, honestly, the way I see it is I don't know how many years of Slay we got left, right? So if Slay retires, let's assume Slay's gone after year 2. Year 3, we could have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship all playing. Have CJ play the slot. You have Reed and Sidney Brown at safety. You have Quinyon Mitchell, who we got in the first round at Toledo. You got Cooper DeJean. You got Isaiah Rodgers. You still got Avonte Maddox on the roster. Philly has a lot of depth in the secondary. But I think year 1, some of these guys that probably should be getting on the field just can't because of the bodies ahead of them. But ultimately, a great defense with a lot of depth. And I think, I don't know, a couple Super Bowls here over the next 5 seasons. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with a trade. I want to flip Kenny Pickett, 74 star dev. In the eyes of Madden, there's definitely still some value there. Colts were offering me Julian Blackmon, who's a 78 star dev safety, which I just don't really need, and a 4th round pick for this. It was this, Pickett and Bradbury. I was all right, so they're interested. Don't necessarily want that. They had Alec Pierce on the trade block. I don't really need that, but if I can't bring back Dotson, it's good to have another potential option there at wide receiver. And I'll flip my 4th for your 3rd. So it's a slight, jump up there in a day 2, day 3 of the draft. We get rid of James Bradbury. They get the backup quarterback, which I think is valuable within the context of just Anthony Richardson and his play style, always having a good backup QB. So happy that we can make this trade with the Indianapolis Colts. So again, in real life, does that trade probably go through? Probably not. But the fact that they just got a 75 star dev quarterback on a rookie contract, an 80 star dev safety, and a 4th round pick for a 3rd in a normal, in Madden, it makes a lot of sense. So we're going to make that trade. So now we have Pierce at wide receiver for Dotson, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. McKee is our backup quarterback. And that kind of just makes a little less of a logjam, I would say, at safety right now. Maybe we go Reed. And I think we got to give Reed the start. We'll let Sidney Brown work his way up. Cut off our bye. We are 3-1. It's a pretty hot start. You look at the rankings offensively, 37 points a game. I mean, it's an early bye, but that is easily the most I've seen so far. Almost a top 10 passing offense, dominant running offense, dominant rushing defense. Overall defense, not the best. We get in a lot of shootouts, but even with the less than stellar defensive performances, we got a defensive back breakout. If I had to guess, I'm going to say this is for Reed Blankenship. We are allowing start at strong safety. He's normal dev, so he's been out there. And let's be honest, that's either Reed Blankenship or Cooper DeJean, and it is Reed Blankenship. So if we can get 2+ TFLs or forced fumbles or deflections against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we'll go up dev trade. And by Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean the 4-1. God damn, the 4-1, number 1 defense, old Jim Schwartz himself. We need Reed to go off here against the Browns to get his dev trade. Oh my God, 40. You let Deshaun Watson go for 45 points. There's almost no reason to talk. What? He got his dev trade? Oh, cool. All right, give up 45 points, and your defensive guy still goes up. That's cool. Great. Cool. All right, so let's see what we got here. We're coming off a nice win over the Cowboys after we surprisingly lost to the Jags. We're 5-4, so that's slightly below where the record is. We have another continuation of the breakout of Reed Blankenship. It feels like he doesn't play. Okay. So what does this mean? An opportunity at a superstar dev? If he keeps crushing it, he just keeps getting 4,500 XP as we keep tabs on him. So that is pretty cool. But at this stage of the game, this is where my big worry was. What? You have $81 million of salary cap. How? Okay. Well. Kai Becton, easily number 1. I want him locked in for the remainder of the reel, especially at that price. Josh Sweat. Sorry, Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith might not ever see the field. But Josh Sweat, Kenny G's replaceable. Devin White. I mean, that's a good price. What's his numbers at? Like, is he going to go up to superstar dev based off these stats? He's at 32 tackles. So, that's still, again, this is like, all right, we sign him. No chance Jeremiah Trotter Jr. has a chance in this rebuild. Big Milt up front. That's a lot of money. I think that'll be a spot we go. And it's, I know, like, there's just this salary cap doesn't make sense. So I don't want to overspend this year. Think we have a lot of money because, like, something is going to cost a lot. I don't know if it's just the contracts go up huge next season and my salary cap, like, that will eat this 64 that we have left. But we won't be able to re-sign everybody here. All right, I've never seen one player of this many breakouts. Reed Blankenship, again, is looking to jump up to a superstar dev in the same season. Comes in a victory over the Rams. Tough team, 35-21. And this could be the greatest, another strong game from Reed Blankenship. Okay, let's go. And apparently he's trying to become Ed Reed Blankenship. On this current trajectory, Reed Blankenship absolutely skyrocketing. Cool. Sick. Surprisingly enough, in a loss, 35-28 against the Baltimore Ravens, we have our first weekly award winner performance. And it's Jalen Hurts with a 3-touchdown, 270-yard performance in an L. Weird. This is insane. Part 3 of the... like, I had to go look at his... Is he just... Does he have 9 picks? Coach, I feel great and I haven't evolved all season. Has anyone ever had a guy go normal to X Factor in 1 year? Because I think we're about to do that. Okay, it's another interaction with Reed Blankenship ahead of the final game of the regular season, the New York Giants, Week 18. And we have a chance to go from normal to X Factor in 1 season with 1 player through in-game scenarios. So I'm going to get the dub to go 35-17 over the New York Giants. 11-6 on the season. Just 1 game behind the Cowboys. We did not win the NFC. Even though offensively we were elite, defensively, good God. I don't know how we have half the rankings that we did. But more importantly, does Reed Blankenship complete the greatest in-season dev trait path I've ever had? How much has Reed, like, that's already a good positive question. Oh my God, they're talking about breakout. Holy shit, did the whole thing in 1 year. We literally went from like, I don't know if he's going to play for us this year. I don't know what position, like, are we going to be able to fit him in? Is he shooting behind Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Do we play Sidney Brown? And we're like, you know what, let's, you know, Reed is, as an Eagle fan, has earned the right to start. He's been UDFA, worked his way up. And then from 70, what was he, 77 normal dev, 78 normal dev to 86 X Factor in 1 freaking season. Makes a Pro Bowl. What kind of year did he have? All right, let's look at these stats. So Jalen Hurts, passing number. I mean, I just feel like he's never going to have ridiculous passing numbers. If he ever wins MVP, it's the combo of the rushing and passing. 3,700 yards, 31 touchdowns, 5 picks. Really good. I'll be happy, honestly, if we can get 1,000 for Devontae and AJ Brown more often than not. Running the ball, Saquon crushed it. 1,400 yards, 19 touchdowns. We had 650 and 8 from Hurts. So Jalen Hurts goes for well over 4,000 yards and 39 touchdowns. That's pretty great. Kenny Gainwell somehow gets in on 10 touchdowns. However, this is my slight issue with how, I don't know. My offense was S tier. But I do feel like there should be, like, come on, right? Devontae Smith and AJ Brown walk to 1,000 yards in real life. But in Madden, it feels like that's going to be difficult for us to do. Devontae was in the slot, and I put him in the slot. In real life, Jahan Dotson, who we just traded for, is going to be in the slot. But I was like, all right, well, AJ Brown on the outside will be our wide receiver 1, and then we'll get Devontae in the slot because slot wide receivers tend to do well. And the slot wide receiver did very well. 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. But, like, AJ Brown, he's just got to lose his fucking X Factor because the Madden sim sucks. So, you know, honestly, it is what it is, I guess. That's definitely a bummer. Reed Blank. So let's see here. We had 108 tackles, 8 TF. So he led the team in tackles, 4 picks for our new X Factor safety. Kobe Dean, 84 tackles, 6 TFLs in a pick. We had 8.5 sacks, 11 TFLs from Jalen Carter. Not bad. 16 TFLs, 3 sacks from Jordan Davis. Acceptable. Terrible from, like, just where's our pass rush? I don't want to be too outrightly negative. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, both of our top picks, had real nice seasons, 2 picks apiece. My team's very good right now, but like I feel like those sacks numbers are bullshit. I feel like these receiving numbers are bullshit. I think it's just gonna be one of them rebuilds. Anyways, we got in the first round of the playoffs a team that Philly sees in 4, I don't know when you guys are seeing this, could be 4 to 3 days in real life in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in the Green Bay Packers. I think, yeah, obviously Green Bay, very good team in the sim, and they handle business. They bump us out of the playoff. And honestly, all I can focus on is the fact that AJ Brown didn't get 1,000 yards, and he didn't get 1,000 yards because that's Madden, not because the limitations of my offense. 200 yards and a touch, 2 tutties for Jalen. Jalen Hurts played well. Ran the ball okay. AJ Brown, you know, that's what AJ Brown does. Defensively, Reed Blankenship continued to crush, but we just had no sacks, nothing defensively. I'm not impressed with Vic Fangio's defense here in Madden 25. Now, usually in a rebuild, when you lose in the playoffs first year, you're like, all right, that's fine. We still got 4 years remaining. Not with Philly, man, because we are seeing Lane Johnson, who was a 96 superstar right tackle, retired. He's going right in the Eagles Hall of Fame, maybe NFL Hall of Fame. You got BG, you know, we knew it was his retirement towards a rotational guy. That's still a noticeable loss. But we're losing to Slay. And Slay was, what, 89 X-Factor corner? Now, we have a lot of depth at corner. We've planned for the loss of, you know, BG and Slay. And with Lane, I think, honestly, you can look at Mekhi Becton, who we just got to a long-term contract, kick him back out to right tackle. But huge loss year 1, man. Our team has taken a considerable step back. And that's why every year counts when you're in an Eagles rebuild. Honestly, now here's another thing. That's AJ Brown went under 1,000 yards as an X factor, which usually is a loss of, okay. We got a slight mulligan here. I would say borderline shockingly, AJ Brown keeps his X factor, but if he plays like that again, there's no way. You might get lucky 1 year. So we have got to figure out a way. Like, if you get 1,000 yards in X, even if you get, I've had wide receivers get 1,000 yards and like 7 touchdowns and still lose their X factor. So very lucky here with AJ Brown. And if we can't figure out a way to facilitate Devontae Smith, who walks to 1,000 yards in real life, and AJ Brown, who walks to like 1,500 yards easy in real life, we're going to have a problem here. So we have got to correct that. Luckily, Hurts, Saquon keeps their X factor. Offensively, I think that is going to be the plan here. In the inside, we'll move Mekhi Becton to right tackle, and then we're going to have to likely prioritize a guard in this very first draft class. I think tight end's another spot. I don't know if Dallas Goedert's going to be one of those guys that gets another contract with the team. He's at that age, and I feel like you got to find the value of how much he brings to our Madden sim here. And I think tight end is not gigantic for the Eagles' success. So maybe getting a younger tight end in the pipeline will be important. So guard and tight end, I would say, would be my concern. I wouldn't say concerns, but my focal point on improving the offense this offseason. Defensively, well, we got Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell that need to step up. And honestly, I'm thinking right now, even though like Isaiah Rodgers and Keely Ringo are nice project players, I am thinking now the best way to balance this defense is going to have CJ play slot. So it's going to be Quinyon DeJean on the outside with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the nickel slot spot. And we'll go with Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown as our starters at safety. Hey, at least the Cowboys lost Super Bowl. I was so flushed with the AJ Brown. Didn't even look at the award winners as Saquon wins Offensive Player of the Year. So for options, we are going to pick up the 5th-year option on Jordan Davis. No. Not saying I won't try to re-sign Jahan Dotson, but I'm not $24 million. No, thank you. Was considering maybe a guard in free agency, so I don't have to potentially use one of our premier picks at an interior lineman, which is never the sexiest thing to do. However, there's just not really anything here at guard. Kendrick Green might be the best of the bunch. Even then, not necessarily a needle mover. We also are going to need someone new to play the Milton Williams role. And of course, Milton Williams is like the best 3-4 lineman available. So I think we're going to have to look towards the draft. I'll just quickly say, as I am like kind of shuffling around the defense, I have Johnny Wilson here, very unique player for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I would just, people might be like, why is he, where does he go? I'm just gonna move him to tight end. I think that's his best bet to continue to make the 53. So here we go into the draft at pick 22. Now I obviously did not think at 22 all these guards that were getting first round grades would still be up board. So I did the classic, like, well, what second, third rounder looks good? And we got Peter Shields here out of Louisville, which we're definitely going to be able to wait. 2 A's, 2 B's. Should be, should be a guy that can come in and expected to contribute. I did scout 3-4 defensive ends. We have Anthony Dawson here, an actual DN, as a first-round talent. A block shed, A tackle, B power move. Finesse move's not the best, but he has elite strength, great acceleration. Now, we got to see how that compares to the D-line. I don't know if the D tackle I scouted is still on board. It is, and Meredith, ooh. Second, third round talent. Now, I don't know why, honestly. This was kind of a brain fart call. I focus scouted linebackers, like middle linebackers. I assume I was just like, well, Devin White's not going to get re-signed. So, yeah, let's kind of focus on that. And look at what we got. 2 dudes here. We have Justin Weaver out of Oregon. A-zone coverage, B tackle. Runs a 4.5. Has elite speed and agility. Sign me up. We also... Oh, okay, great. Don't show me the other one. Down here, is it you? Greg Saunders? You have A-zone A-man. Like the perfect coverage linebacker with 4.40. Luckily, we got some picks. I'm really intrigued by that. But I do think Dawson, the Milton Williams, he needs to be our first pick here. Let's see if we can roll a dev trait, but I want that guard. I want that linebacker real bad. Might be able to find some other gems along the way, but we're first and foremost very much just looking for hidden dev here. Letter grades were good. Combine was solid. 19 in true value at 22, and we get the hidden dev. 86 acceleration, 90 strength on this absolute hoss. Okay, so we have pick 22 and then pick 9 of the third round. We have 2 third-round picks. So the guard's still available. Where's the linebacker? I feel like the linebackers are... I think that's where we can wait. I think we get the guard now. Overdraft the guard because we need him to start. And then get the linebacker the next pick. So Peter Shields here out of Louisville. So this, by that first pick was Louisville too. So back-to-back Louisville selections here for the Eagles. 36 in true value at 54. And we get the dev trait. We got pick 9 and 22 in the third round. And for the linebackers, well, we still got... Oh, no, is he gone? No, he's not. I just want to see what this... Even if he's normal dev, this is still the right pick to make. A-zone, A-man coverage for a linebacker that ran almost a 4.3. So he's going to have like 91 speed. So like at worst. I don't know where he's going to play. 33 in value. Getting him at 73. Yep. Great pick out of Florida State. Let's get a look at our draft recap. Hopefully, I mean, a lot of blind picks. We were very much focused on the top end of the draft. Yeah, we got a 71 wide receiver in the 6th round. Paul Wharton out of Iowa, 6'6", with the combine machine. 6'6", 92 speed, 95 acceleration, 97 agility, 99 juke, 96 JJ. I mean, that's just one of those like, all right, why not, right? That's just kind of, let's get the freak. We love to draft based off combine. I got Emmanuel Kelly at corner in the third round because he had A-man coverage, 72 normal. Saunders, 73 with the hidden dev. Just an absolute beast of an athlete. Pass cover. Devin White, Nicole. I mean, we got options here. Might be able to move, maybe potential trade at one of our other linebackers. If it comes down to it, get him on the field at some way. Shields at guard. He's going to start for us 73 with a hidden dev. And then we get Dawson in the first round, who's going to start alongside Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter at D-line. 75 with the hidden dev trade. We've had a perfect start to the season, 4-0. Twice has Jalen Hurts got player week. Had a 5-touchdown performance week 4. Week 1 was a little less spectacular, but still 3 total touchdowns. He's playing some outstanding football. So we get a good bye week. We are on a 3-game losing streak. We are 6-0, and then we've lost, I believe it was to Dallas, Green Bay, and then the Chargers. Defense is still god-awful. Thanks, Vic. Overall, I mean, I guess It's one of those things. Are we really good at stopping the run, or are we so bad against the pass teams just aren't running it against us? Because that could be the case. Offensively, though, elite rankings at this point. Would love to finish in the ballpark of top 3 everything. That would be very, very nice. Looking at some contracts here for the Philadelphia Eagles. $57 million. Oh boy. And let's just put it this way. The fun, exciting breakout of Reed Blankenship has only added zeros to a contract extension for him. We're going to give him a 4-year, $58 million because you kind of have to. Jahan Dotson, we just don't have the salary cap to pay a wide receiver 3. I'd love to keep Dallas Goedert. He's just not, no matter what way you put it, he's just not a super integral part of the offense. Even though the interest is there, I think we would regret paying him, and we would look back as, you know, I'm not saying that would be next year, but like maybe year 4. There's a guy like, oh man, if we didn't sign Dallas Goedert, we could pay Jordan Davis, we could pay Jalen Carter, guys that are going to make more of an impact to this roster. So I'm going to go against the grain just because that was the case last year in Madden 24. When I would re-sign Dallas Goedert in my Eagles rebuild, I usually ended up regretting it. Even though in real life, outstanding player, one of the most underrated tight ends in the league, that's a big number for a guy that's also 30 years old, pretty much at his ceiling. That's what you want to see. Bye week was at a right time. 3-game losing streak. Out of the bye, we beat Kansas City, we beat Dallas, and we get a defensive line breakout, which for any of the front 3, this is going to be very much a welcome addition. Jalen Carter is looking, oh man, that's going to be tough. 5+ combined TFL, sack, or forced fumble. I mean, it is the gigantic leap to go from a superstar to an X Factor. I was thinking maybe this would be Jordan Davis going from star to an X Factor, superstar or whatever, but hey, Reed Blankenship could do it, Jalen Carter can do it. So it's an ugly win against the Rams, 20-17, but we're on a 3-game win streak. Devin White gets Defensive Player of the Week, 5 tackles with 2 interceptions. But, I mean, again, this is just incredibly wishful thinking that we'll get that breakout scenario for Jalen Carter. Honestly, at best, even if we don't hit it, he should get some XP, which would be cool, which that's the case. The good news is at the end of year 2, we go 13-4, a much better record. Much more accurate, I think, to where the Philadelphia Eagles should be. We don't get the first round bye. Can you guess why? Think about it. Oh, it's just because Dallas went 15-2. So we got the Dallas Cowboy God roll when we decide to rebuild the Philadelphia Eagles. Hilarious. Jalen Hurts, 3,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, 5. I'm happy like that's where his stats are at. For sure. On the rushing standpoint, Saquon went off 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 and 7 for Hurts. 3 and 5 for Will Shipley. Receiving, we get, I mean, it's just barely, but I will take that. We barely get 1,000 yards for both Devontae Smith, who's in the slot, 70 catches. We'll round that up to 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. And we got 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns for A.J. Brown, 6 and 4 for Goddard, 4 and 6 for Jahan Dotson. Pretty happy with those numbers. We got 127 tackles, 6 TFLs, 2 sacks, 3 picks for Devin White. Thriving. 17 TFLs, 10 sacks from Jalen Carter, 15 and 5.5 for Jordan Davis, 5 from so we were just getting 0 sack pressure from our edge rushers. Josh Sweat starts in base, Bryce Huff starts in base, and they're getting absolutely nothing. Love seeing Quinyon Mitchell with 3 picks. Cooper DeJean up there, 78, but we might have to make a change here defensively. What? Like we were just getting 0 return on investment of our expensive pass rush. Brutal. Madden. Dak wins MVP. Of course he did. Jalen Hurts coming in the top 5. And then looking here, a lot of Cowboys. Cool. All right, well, I'll tell you this. We have to go on a playoff run for me to commit to the 3-4. If not, historically, last year the 3-4 was literally broken in the sim. Maybe it's foolish to assume that, and look, we're 1 and done. So yeah, we are very much going to welcome Vic Fangio to retirement because your defense is butt cheeks. So is Jalen Hurts here today, though. Let's be honest, we can't throw the defense under the bus. That is terrible. So Bill Summers, aka Vic Fangio, he retires. So we're gonna be looking for a new defensive coordinator. And yep, give me the Bills guy. So I just switched the defense all the way around to a 4-3. The only thing that's a bummer is we just draft a D tackle now, who's kind of at the butt. You know what? Jordan Davis's contract's coming up, so I think we might have to you know, do what's best. I did, ponder keeping Jalen Carter at defensive end. He's thriving as a pass rusher, but I think he's going to be that much more good on the inside. That's great English, but yeah. I think I'm always viewing this as like we need to sacrifice a Jordan Davis or Dawson so that everybody else on the defense plays better. As the Super Bowl is it's not Chiefs Cowboys. So that's cool. So for our contracts, we are going to pick up the 5th year option for Jalen Carter. We go into free agency with $70 million, which is a lot. Unfortunately, like, Nolan, not going to be able to pick that up. The Kobe. I think I'll take Nolan. I have Nolan. I'm going to keep him at linebacker. I think we kind of used him as like reverse Micah Parsons. Like Micah Parsons was like a linebacker. Like, let's just make him a pass rusher. Nolan Smith was just like, it's a pass rusher. I'm going to try to make him a linebacker as much more athletic than Nakobe Dean. So I think we can go Nolan Smith, Devin White instead of Nakobe Dean. And then we'll go Saunders, the freaky speed linebacker we drafted last year. All right. Taking a gander at the top free agents that we have here. Brock Purdy, Jalen Phillips, Dallas Goedert's up there. I mean, maybe we can get like sneaky value at tight end. Isaiah Likely. That's interesting. 26.76. I actually like that. He cost that much? It's not that much more than Goddard. All right, no, we're drafting a tight end. Screw that. For the draft, we got a trade offer coming in for Jordan Davis. Interesting. Ugh. Brian Mitchell. That was like the best Eagles receiver before I started watching the Eagles. I am open to trade him for the right price. If I get an offer that is too hard to even pass, we're not really getting that. We're getting like slot wide receivers, depth corners. Like if we could get a tight end there, that would be no. All right, we're holding on to him. I'm gonna sound kind of contradictory here because I didn't want to pay Dallas Goedert because tight end is just not that influential on the offense. And then I'm also going to suggest now that we might want to use our first round pick to draft a tight end. Beasley, easily the best one here. 6'3", 235, A catching, B depth running, B catch. Eliu. I want this guy. Where's he going? Elite strength, elite speed. Yes, sir. Oh, and where's he going? He's going to the Eagles. So as we sit away, pick 23 of the first round of the 2026 NFL draft, I believe it's. We're going to be able to grab Beasley here. Let's not even think twice about it. Make the pick quickly. Hopefully as a dev trait, we know the athletic profile is outstanding. Even though it is annoying for me just, again, to say, we can't really pay Goddard because tight end doesn't get big time numbers. And then you just invest your next pick at the position. But the salary cap comes down to the salary cap. This guy hopefully will be as good as Dallas Goedert would have been at worst come year 5 of this rebuild. And he's going to be an 1/8 of the price. So we get 34 in true value at 23. Oh, no, Dev. Damn. And it's not like tight ends eat in our scheme anyway for him to like get offensive rookie of the year or something like that too. Center's been in position as well. I think we could look at improving. We have Easton McLean at center. A impact block, B pass. It's kind of a blind pick, but the combine is very much pretty much a confidence builder that this is going to be a solid pick. Come on, have a depth trait. 32, getting at 55. Let's go. I love it, man. I love the skull cap with the suit. Nice. Looking at our draft recap, pretty happy with how things turned out. We got auto pick. I'm not gonna lie. At the end, I was just like, a couple picks here, and they give me a 78 generational fullback. 90 lead block, 85 trucking. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get him involved. He got the Mike Allstott build. But my last pick before we kind of just went off our board was the hidden dev linebacker here, Pleasant. Just big time speed. Anytime you're switching schemes, getting back to a 4-3, get more 4-3 linebackers, off-ball linebackers, athletic sideline to sideline linebackers in the squad. Because you never know, the Nolan Smith experiment at outside linebacker might not work. So someone like Pleasant could be relied upon later on in this rebuild. Leash here wasn't our best pick, 69 normal. We got McLean, probably our best pick. He's going to be a day one starter for us, 74 hidden dev at center. Not necessarily saying he's Jason Kelsey, but he's very athletic, which certainly works well to winning the fans over. And we have our Dallas Goedert replacement again in the first round, Stephen Beasley. No dev trait, but the profile is, I mean, he got a lot of speed, good catching. I think he'll be productive here. And I'm going to be honest, I think he'll get Dallas Goedert's stat line. And yes, the fullback was number 3 in true talent. I wish I could take credit for that one. So we got a very interesting offer here from the Chargers for Jordan Davis. Now, I can accept that. I'm going to view that as more so the Chargers are really looking to make a deal here. So let's see how badly they want Jordan Davis without, doing that dumb trade. I'll make it nice and easy. Second round pick for Jordan Davis. Best of luck. Wish the big fella. Oh, I hope Harbaugh can maximize him because we weren't able to. All right, we're back here for year 3. Offensively, no real concerns. We got a generational fullback and a brand new center and a new tight end. But the big changes on the defensive side of the ball is we switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3 after moving Jordan Davis for a second round pick. We got Jalen Carter and Dawson inside of D tackle, Huff and Sweat at pass rush. We need something out of them. We're making this switch because we need to get something out of our pass rush. We're gonna have Nolan Smith kind of act as like that hybrid Hassan Reddick role, where it's a linebacker, but he's also a blitzer. But he has that athleticism. I think he can cover sideline to sideline. We have Devin White and Saunders will be our primary 2 linebackers. Pleasant is kind of the understudy to Devin White, if you will. We'll have Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship start at safety. Superstar devs, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will be the nickel with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell on the outside. Optimistic that this change will get us the results we need on defense. Well, some pretty good news is that we go into the bye week with the number 1 offense, averaging 38 a game. And I think every time we've had like a really hot start offense, it does fall off a little bit, and at least, falls a little more in line with how everything else tends to fall. But if we could average 38 a game, that would be terrifying. And also, our defense, points and pass yards, we've been 32nd. 30th to 32nd. We are 20th right now, so that is great. Our rush defense is still elite, even after trading Jordan Davis. There's always going to be a worry there. And we just beat that. We got 2 back-to-back 40 bombs, 41-27 over the Panthers, and an impressive shootout win, 44-38 over the Cowboys. We're going to player of the week for Jalen Hurts, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. But at this point in time, it is time to talk about contracts. We have $76 million of salary cap. We just moved on from Jordan Davis, who was looking to get paid, so that's going to free up some funds. And with our money here, Quinyon on the 5th-year option, that's pretty automatic. Sidney Brown, I'm going to throw full Canadian bias in there. That's a reasonable contract. 3-year, 18 mil, under 20. Saquon has been incredible. Usually you don't pay running backs, especially at 29 years old. But knowing that we only have 2 years left of this rebuild, he is still going to be elite for those 2 years. Likely will still be in the 90s for those 2 years. So we are very much going to bring him back. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson just went up dev trade, so we'll see if we can get him on a 4-year 54, which we do. It's a lot of money. Bryce Huff, where's he at? We kind of changed the whole defense around so that him and Josh Sweat can get out to the quarterback. He's 28, so he's pretty close to his ceiling. And again, that is not what I'm looking for at all. Keely Ringo, developmental corner, interest in coming back. But we just, no, I don't hate that. Do not hate that one bit. We still have $30 million of cap, but Bryce Huff's going to have to play very, very well down the stretch to get himself a contract extension. So I recorded the first 2 years of this rebuild, then I chilled, took a little bit of time off, and now that I'm up the next day recording to finish this out years 3, 4, and 5, there was a title update for Madden that just dropped, and in said title update, we got a face scan for Quinyon Mitchell and a face scan for Cooper DeJean. That's all I've seen so far, but pretty cool. The Eagles' top picks get their likeness in Madden 25. Another player of the week before, it's 34-20 over the Cardinals. Needed that after we lost a close one to the Pittsburgh Steelers by a late field goal, and it is Jalen Hurts. Another 4-touchdown, 300-yard performance. The next week, we put up 40 on the Commanders with another player of the week performance, and it's Jalen Hurts. Win streak continues. We're now 10-2 ahead of a big game week 14 as we host the 49ers. But it's another player of the week performance. I'm going to guess, yep, Jalen Hurts again. Just because we've been showing some results, we did beat the 49ers. So that's always good. So at the end of the year, first thing we gotta highlight is Stephen Beasley, the normal dev top pick of us that came. That was, a little bit of a wet fart, let's be honest with you, trying to come in and replace Dallas Goedert. Well, we got 15,000 XP for him getting 8 receiving touchdowns. We got 7 for making the Pro Bowl. That gives him 5. So that's going to bring him up to an 82 entering his sophomore season, which is excellent. And I'm going to guess if he made the Pro Bowl, we might be talking Offensive Rookie of the Year discussion. So looking at our team rankings, first offense, second in passing yards, second in rushing yards, 16th defense, 7th in passing defense, second in rush yards. Full disclosure, this is what we did. We brought in the Buffalo Bills background defensive coordinator, which is McDermott, base 4-3. We kept the offense the exact same. It's not even the best offense. We're only 59% scheme fit. And Jalen Hurts went nuclear. I don't know I can tell you what the change looked like. It looked like Saquon starting to slow down just a little bit. But Jalen Hurts goes about 1,000 more passing yards than he got any year prior. 42 touchdowns, 7 picks. So interceptions maybe up slightly, but everything else is popping off for Hurts. Multiple offensive player of the weeks. Saquon Barkley's yards are down a little bit, but I mean, not enough to be like, well, that's, Jalen Hurts is throwing it a little bit more to compensate for the lack of, no. And Jalen Hurts also had, Saquon, full due respect, 200 yards, 70 touchdowns is a great year. 6 and 10 for Jalen Hurts. So he goes 5,200 yards and 52 touchdowns. That should be MVP. I will be shocked if Mahomes or Dak beat him for that. Devontae Smith, who is in the slot, 93 catches, 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. Beasley, the tight end, goes for 89,008. We were not getting anywhere near that with Dallas Goedert. Anywhere near that. Goddard was getting 5, 6 if we're lucky. Sucks that was at kind of the expense, I guess we could say, of A.J. Brown, who got 71 catches, 951 yards, and 9 touchdowns. A little worried that we could be losing the X Factor, even though that's not a brutal year. But, okay. I'm not going to, the first year that A.J. Brown kind of sucked, I was flabbergasted, to say the least. This year, it's a little more understandable because we were 50 yards shy of having 3,000-yard receivers. So we'll take that. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, if Devontae Smith off of that year might bump up to X Factor, if A.J. Brown falls down to superstar, I'll just make A.J. Brown the slot wide receiver next year. Defensively, Devin White, tackle machine, 139 tackles, 6 TFLs, half sack, and interception. We got 12 sacks from Josh Sweat, 8 from Huff, 4.5 from Carter. So that's pretty much what happened. We cannibalized Jalen Carter, who, all due respect, that's not a brutal year for a defensive tackle. 12 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. You probably think, should be a different area code. But I know we made this switch for the defensive ends to eat, and we kind of got that a little bit. 3 picks from Quignon and DeJean, 2 from Sidney Brown. I like seeing those numbers, but definitely expect Jalen Carter as a 92 X Factor to probably have a little bit more impact than what he did. But double-digit TFLs might be enough to keep him as an X Factor. But there's definitely a shot. Even though things are better than ever in certain spots, there is a legitimate worry that A.J. Brown is an X Factor and Jalen Carter as an X Factor might lose them. But Jalen Hurts, rightfully so, gets the MVP here in year number 3. Did we get Coach of the Year Sirianni? No, we did not, but we don't care. We don't stand Sirianni anymore on this channel. Offensive Player of the Year, Jalen Hurts at 1, Saquon at 2, Devontae Smith at 3, which is pretty ridiculous. Beasley gets robbed! No! 1,000 yards for rookie tight end, runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And it's because the Niners went out and replaced Brock Purdy with this guy, an offensive lineman playing quarterback. He had 15 picks. Is he a dual threat? He'd have 40 touchdowns as a yes. You got quarterback of the year going to Jalen Hurts, running back of the year going to Saquon Barkley, wide receiver of the year going to Devontae Smith. Peter Shields, who we drafted to play guard right away, wins lineman of the year. That could be a dev trade. That could be a superstar dev, which would be absolutely awesome. We didn't really get any love on the defensive side of the ball, but the offense is red hot. I'm very optimistic we're going to go on a deep playoff run here. After having a first round bye, we had Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears in the divisional round here, where the Bears go 9-8. Look at their stats. I mean, a top 5 defense. Give them that. But they got Mark Andrews, so they got themselves a safety net. Mark Andrews, what, Cole Kmet? A lot of 2 tight end sets there, but only 29 touchdowns for Caleb Williams. I mean, we know how this should probably go, but you never know. We have not won any playoff games yet, and we get the win, and we got the Cowboys. 9-8 Cowboys, huh? In the championship, they made it at 9-8. Really? We get a player of the week performance. Surprise, surprise. It's Jalen Hurts. 47 passing attempts. Like, those are off the chart. It's like something has changed in this offense that we are just throwing it out at a rate that hasn't been the same for the first 2 years. Nothing. I haven't done anything. I wish I knew what I was doing. If there was a magical way that I could be like, hey, can we throw it 20 more times a game than what we were before? I'd do that in all my rebuilds. But insane game from Jalen Hurts. Almost 500 yards in a victory over the Chicago Bears. Our defense didn't play particularly well. This one had to go to overtime. 37-31 overtime victory. 3 touchdowns and a pick. Caleb Williams didn't play too bad. You know, kept them in the game. Rushing touchdowns there from Barkley and Shipley. How is this tight end? I don't want to say how. How wasn't Dallas Goedert? I'm going to be pulled behind the veil here. Usually, tight ends are like the same, like the universal stat line. Usually. Sometimes you'll get your Mark Andrews, you'll get your Kyle Pitts that might play a little bit better in their scheme. But generally speaking, if you have someone like Dallas Goedert that was like, what, an 87 overall, his ceiling, what he was getting for his stats, likely are the limit. That's the ceiling that will never get broken through for that tight end position. That's usually why I don't pay tight ends unless they're a focal point of our offense. What? This guy's taking over wide receiver 2 from A.J. Brown, who, all due respect, also went off today with 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, though, we're not going to be able to probably beat Dallas. We play with an effort like that. Shout out Jalen Carter getting a sack, but we're going to need a lot better performance here in the NFC Championship. Not only that, we have to play our part here to make sure it's not an ABC Super Bowl. Anybody but the Cowboys and Chiefs, as Dallas and Kansas City are both there. We know Dallas, they got Micah Parsons. They got CeeDee Lamb. They got Diggs. Only had 1 pick this year, but you look at it, they have a top 10 passing offense, top 10 rushing offense. Defense, not the best. Maybe slightly better in certain categories than us, but ultimately, I'm going to lose my mind. I might get a rant queued up here for Dallas. I saw a graphic the other day. No way. Oh, shit. We can't. I hate that. I hate this screen in this game. Because this is the exact screen you can see now in the top right above the webcam that we won. But this is also where it just shows like this stats hub. That's the thing you get when you lose. So because it's the Pro Bowl, it drives me nuts. I saw a graphic the other day that was like the last 20 NFC champions. And you know what team wasn't there? Take a guess. You know what team, if this was in Madden and I did 20 years in the future, you know what team would probably be there more than any NFC team? Take a guess. But we handle business. We kicked the shit out of them. Okay? 45 bomb. I'm going to assume we're playing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to assume we're playing the Chiefs. But Jalen Hurts went off 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Very, very efficient with the football as well. 14 of 18. But again, just the discrepancy. Maybe because the last game went to overtime. And this game here was such a big lead. We could run it. But going from 18 passing attempts this game, 47 the week before. That is a wild variance. But as you can see here, as we're simming, the Super Bowl has been set here. Year 3 of this 5-year rebuild. And of course, who else would it be but the Kansas City Chiefs? So ahead of the Super Bowl, curiosity got the better of me. Shields, who won Lineman of the Year, is now a superstar. McLean was hidden dev. He's a star. Beasley was normal dev after a 1,000-yard season for a tight end. He's a star. However, A.J. Brown loses his X factor. Devontae Smith gains an X factor. We still have that in the building, but unfortunately for the rest of the league, that means I'm going to put this absolute monster, probably the most powerful wide receiver in the NFL. He's going in the slot next year so he can eat and hopefully get his X factor back. We don't know the dev trait yet of our generational fullback, but hopefully it's something funny. Like if it's X factor, that'd be hilarious. On the defensive side, worried about Jalen Carter. Oh, let's go. That's a win. Jalen Carter keeps his X factor. I thought we were going to lose both his and A.J. Brown. We keep an X factor there. Josh Sweat had a nice year. I actually wonder if he would have went up dev trait and lost it because he's 29. No, okay. Fair enough. Everyone else kept their depth chart. I saw there. Sanchi Gardner-Johnson, superstar, Reed with his ex. We're going to sit front row here for this matchup here against the Chiefs. I'd love to get this Super Bowl, get this successful rebuild checked off, as we don't have the hottest streak. A lot of times, like literally the last Madden 24, Madden 23, I know for a fact, we went like 10 rebuilds to start that game cycle without taking an L. I think we've already taken 2 losses here at Madden 25. So to get one, get that check mark early with 2 years to spare for the Philadelphia Eagles would be huge, and kind of what I expected, honestly, taking over a very good roster. But looking at this matchup, it's the number 1 offense against the number 2 offense. The number 1 passing offense in Kansas City against the number 2 passing offense here in Philly. We do have the advantage as far as running the ball, but they still have a top 10 rushing offense, which is respectable. We have a slight edge in terms of points per game. We have a decent edge in passing yard defense. They have a good edge as far as stopping the throw. Look at that. Patrick Mahomes had 53. What? So we had 52 total touchdowns with Jalen Hurts and 1 MVP. Mahomes had 53. Mahomes had 56 touchdowns, but he did have almost double the interceptions. So I'm kind of happy, all things considered, that award still went to Jalen Hurts. But my God, what? 53 touchdowns. You got Pacheco's a weapon. Rashee Rice had 24 touchdowns. They got this top 10 Wiley that's taken over for Kelsey. Just, again, like here's an example, right? Perfect example. I was just talking about it. If I was doing a Kansas City Chiefs rebuild, you know, do you need to pay a tight end? Who's this guy? This guy clearly just stepped into Kelsey's. I mean, he's still, all due respect, that's still pretty legit, 79. But certain schemes, you need to value the tight end. Other schemes we saw with Goddard, I assume we didn't. And then we drafted a first-round rookie, and he went absolutely nuclear. So you never know. So it's revenge time. We're back at it. Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. I think, honestly, it's going to happen again in real life at some point. I'm not saying Philly's going to go to the Super Bowl this year, but I think we will see a Hurts-Mahomes Super Bowl at least one more time. And this, we have to reenact it out here in Madden. This is revenge tour time. Philly choked. Absolutely choked. They had the big lead. Mahomes wasn't 100%. He was banged up, and we choked it. We cannot let that happen here again. As we got the lead, come on, we have a better offense. We have the MVP in Jalen Hurts. We should not be settling for field goals. Field goals are not going to keep you in games against the Kansas City Chiefs. Marching down the field, we got it 17. Everything is equal here in the 4th. Kansas City gets a go-ahead touchdown. We need to get a score here. Oh, my God. 2 minutes to go. We have the ball to go win it. 24-24. And we punt it very quickly. That is a incredibly kick. We go to overtime. Kansas City scores in overtime. 4th and what? I'll come in. 4th and what? God, get the webcam out of the way. I still don't even know what it is. Where's the line? Okay, it's like 4th and something. Saquon Barkley out of the backfield. Or Jalen Hurts. Jay Hurts! Come on. Finish this off. 31-31. We get the ball in overtime. Field goal wins it. Let's go! Year 3. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch them. I couldn't watch them on 4th down lose that game. I had to help him put that ring on Sidney Jones' finger, baby. Another guy that needs a face scan. That's a rough one. I'll be honest. This is probably what it would take for me to forgive Nick Sirianni. I'm never going to forgive. I'm not going to be anti. This is speaking to the Eagle fans out there that are watching. I'm not going to be anti Nick Sirianni. But until he wins a Super Bowl, and if that never happens, I'm never going to forgive him. But if he wins, winning a Super Bowl is going to be the only way I forgive him for the final year of Jason Kelsey's career. How last season ended. He's still on my shit list. But look at that. Still got 2 years left to win it. I said when we started this, I got to win a couple Super Bowls here. The Eagles are not your traditional rebuild. I'm not starting with a cupcake roster and like a rookie quarterback. I have a very good roster where my job as a rebuilder is to maintain this level. And the salary cap hasn't even really been that bad. Yeah, we've had to get rid of Jordan Davis. Yeah, we've had a couple, maybe didn't sign Dallas Goedert. A couple tough decisions in terms of salary cap there. But ultimately, there hasn't been a I can't afford to bring you back kind of situation, which I thought there was going to be. And we've drafted really, really well. So 2 years remaining. We get our Super Bowl. We get our revenge over the Kansas City Chiefs. I suppose let's take a little look here at the stats. Jalen Hurts. Whoa. Okay, so both these quarterbacks went toe-to-toe. 390 yards for Hurts, 3 touchdowns. Did have 2 picks, which I don't love to see. Mahomes definitely played a little bit better here. The battle of, I imagine if this was real life, Chiefs fans would be saying Mahomes should have been the MVP. Well, Hurts did a pretty good job. Saquon with a touchdown. The tight end, we just got Travis Kelce reincarnated here, I guess, and Stephen Beasley. How is he just lapping? I mean, Devontae Smith got 2 touchdowns, but he's like lapping A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith every time I've looked. It's been this tight end. Absolutely insane. Quinyon Mitchell, 12 tackles. Love seeing that. We get the sack from Josh Sweat. We get the pick from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's a hell of a performance, fellas. Very much appreciated. Check mark. Our Eagles, or at least our first Eagles Madden 25 rebuild, will not be an L. So as the defending Super Bowl champs, how do we improve this season? I think we're going to likely go the boring approach of not spending in free agency. Because, I mean, you look at the offense right now. We don't need, I'd say you could say we need a slot wide receiver. So Vania Smith there is not that bad. But Beasley's our 3rd player. A.J. Brown, Beasley, and Devontae Smith, that's what we got. Our offensive line is good. Rest of skill positions is good. Griffin, not necessarily generational, but still 79 started at fullback. It's not bad. We let Bryce Huff walk in free agency. So now it's going to give old Nolan Smith the chance to see what he can do at pass rush. And with that, did have an opportunity to maybe put the Trotter, the Axe. You know what? I'm going to do that. Pleasant, 78, hidden dev makes the most sense. But let's see if we can get something out of Trotter. Right? This is the time. We're playing with house money. We got the Super Bowl. Let's see if we can develop Trotter and Nolan Smith this year. And Keely Ringo's going to get a chance. We're sitting out free agency. Hopefully we have a great draft. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to take a peek, because free agency has been butt cheeks, in my opinion, the amount of players. And I felt like it was the same thing we had last year in Madden 24. Madden 24 free agency was terrible, and then they updated something in franchise mode with like free signing logic, and then it became a little bit more reasonable. For the most part, like, look, just kickers and punters and guys that are 30 plus. Get Gordon, who'd be interesting. Like, look at guys that would legitimately be good signings. Gordon, I think he still got something here in Huff at 29. Hutchinson's obviously a huge potential get, but man, free agency has been very lackluster here in Madden 25. You know my thoughts on that. I know it's a polarizing issue. I know other people say I don't like my free agency being absolutely ridiculous, but I don't know. Obviously, different strokes for different folks. If you want to know another reason why we're giving Nolan Smith a chance, is because I focus scouted defensive ends this year under the assumption that I wasn't going to bring back Bryce Huff, and they're all busts. At least in as far as like their relative position. Yeah. So yeah. We had to sit and wait all the way to pick 32. Let's pause this draft so we don't have to rush, because I like to just talk and do this live. We did all of our homework on pass rushers. And all the pass rushers that we did our homework on look like absolute dog crap. I even scouted like some of the top edge, and look, even this one. All right, day 3 talent, phenomenal. I will say that there does look to be some decent linebacker players that could, Devin White's getting up there in age a little bit, so I'm telling you, right, like Jamie Wilson, that could be a candidate for us as far as drafting in the 2nd round, maybe to overreach for him with that elite speed. But I'm going to be honest, at this point, my scouting didn't give us anything, so that means it's blind pick time. And when it's blind pick time, what do we like to look for? We like to look for 1st round projected talent that ran a 4.24, that has a deep route running, and is Deshaun Jackson reincarnated for this squad. Adrian Spellman, Wisconsin. F's everything. Couldn't give a shit. F, you can give him F- in catching. You give me a deep route running and 4.24 speed, I'm going to show you guys going to be an absolute freaking Madden. Maybe in real life you'd be scared off. Maybe in real life you'd be like, oh, it's John Ross 2.0. But in Madden, this guy's a Chico. He's going to be hidden dev, 99 speed, like 97 agility. Number 80. Oh, number 80 in true value, huh? Not worried about it one bit. Not one bit. He might be 70, but I bet you he's going to be a freak. All right, we have 2 picks in the second round because of the Jordan Davis trade. Our first, we're going to go after that elite speed linebacker in Wilson. This is just thinking about the long term of our linebacking core. Again, if Jeremiah Trotter doesn't develop and Devin White's not getting any younger. I mean, Devin White had a crazy year and still loses his depth trade, so that's all you need to know about where he's at. And there we go. J.B. Wilson, 33 in true value, getting him at 49. Hidden dev linebacker. That's a great pick with that Jordan Davis compensation. I'm intrigued. Now we're just BPA. Our roster is set. So I'm thinking like, all right, well, Saquon could be the next that just, boom. He hits some of the regression. Could be bad. We don't have someone really in the pipeline because I'm probably not going to pay Will Shipley to stay on the roster. He's been, entering his final year. So we have Nate Downs. We know power backs with high break tackle. Now the carrying scares me a little bit. That needs to be at least a B. If it's below a B, it's going to kind of mess us up. But I was like, all right, let's see. What kind of power backs do you have with A break tackle? And this is the guy that has it. And he didn't attend the combine. Now we do have his ratings. But I'm always intrigued by guys that avoid the combine. Because you never know what you're getting. In older Maddens, that would mean they're an absolute freak. And they're going to be a hidden dev superstar. And he looks pretty damn good. 34 in true value, getting him at 60. Let's go, baby. This is a rich get richer type draft. Even though they were kind of dogging our first pick at 32, he's still 71 with prolific speed. I'm not worried about it with a dev trade. Wilson at linebacker, 74 hidden dev. Downs at running back, 74 hidden dev. Close up the draft with some decent. Why does the CPU keep picking fullbacks? I don't know why, but my picks were great. Blind picks weren't so. Follow the board, please. I think I had like 5 corners tabbed up. Happy with my draft. Holy, I will say for the very first time, this is few and far between. This is the first time there's been an 80 plus in this rebuild, and there's 3. Running back going 1-1 to the Dolphins. Corner going at 7, and then an 85 guard going to the Seattle Seahawks. This is late first round. Yes, we technically, we technically couldn't have passed on it because before our pick. Is he like X Factor, superstar dev? Wow, congrats. Steve Hutchinson 2.0 for the Seahawks there. So going into year 4, defending our Super Bowl title, here is how the offense is going to change. The hierarchy of the depth chart of wide receiver, Devontae Smith is now our wide receiver 1, but we have and will help out A.J. Brown, which you'll see in a second. Spelling with his 99 speed is also going to be a big get for the offense. Defensively is where we have the most changes. Nolan Smith will be still our starting pass rusher over Bryce Huff. We're going to go White and Trotter out there with Saunders and Trotter as our 2 sub linebackers. Blankenship, Brown, safety, CJ, GJ, and nickel with DeJean and Mitchell on the outside. And it is time. A.J. Brown in the slot. Stunt on these hoes, please. Not only that, but we get Kansas City week 1. Beat them again. We're back on a roll. 3-0 start. Putting up 30 on the bottom dwellers of the NFC East. 35-7 over the Giants. I imagine it's going to be Jalen Hurts, which it is. He's so freaking good. Here's another way. We have another player of the week. Ugly win over the New Orleans Saints. 17-4. This is probably going to be on the defense. And it is. It's Saunders. The speedster at linebacker, 5 tackles, an interception, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, all over the field. I'm gonna be honest, at this point, we're gonna stay here live. See how many more wins. I thought we would slip up against the Jets. We dropped 40 on the Jets. We're gonna set our national scouting focus here, just in case. Oh, it's still there. It's locked in. Defensive end. Definitely need a backup plan in case we're not getting what we want out of Nolan Smith come season's end. But I'm not even going to look at contract until we lose. We have the winless Giants. This would be very Madden if to lose against them. We pump them. 38-9. And I will upgrade my players every single week just to make sure we're putting out the best lineup possible. That is a fire face scan there for Cooper DeJean. Now we got the Bucks, 4-3. I'd love to get to 10-0. I'd love to go undefeated, to be honest with you. There we go. Another 40 bomb. We got the Dolphins up next at 5-4. I'll say this. There are usually some fan bases that I will agree should be frustrated with the state of their team. One team I never see good is Miami. And Miami should be, I'm not saying they need to be world beaters, but Miami should consistently be competing in the AFC. And the reality is, we beat, damn it. 9-1. And the reality is, in the AFC, as far as I can tell, it's usually some combo of the Chiefs, the Ravens, The Bengals are sometimes there. The Raiders are sometimes. I never see Miami going on deep playoff runs. Dolphin fans, feel free to comment your info and details on the matter in the comments. Well, every time we're at the bye week, look at the rankings. Outside of our passing defense, everything is elite and what you would expect of a team with barely any roster turnover and defending the Super Bowl crown. Let's look at our salary contract. Who do we want to go the full route? Now, this is where, oh no. This is where she's getting tight, fellas. 35 mil. Well, you got to pay him for, oh my God, no. I want both of them. I'll be honest, I can live without Will Shipley. I can live without Josh. I can live having to what's Nolan Smith looking like? If he's breaking out, I'm going to be frustrated. Oh my God, he is. We need money. This is Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean all need to stay here. Now, I'm very surprised at the discrepancy. Obviously, the years are different, but DeJean's getting offered that much more than Quinyon. 2.6 million. I don't. It's time. It's time to start hitting these restructures. Start with Saquon. I can't move any money on Jalen Hurts, which sucks. You hit up Devontae Smith. You hit up AJ Brown. And like that gave me less salary cap. What? So we're going to just put the salary cap stuff on the back burner. Gonna worry about that at a later date because we need to focus on the regular season. We go 16-1, the one loss to the Dolphins. Oh my God. Okay. You know, honestly, at this point, I could understand a little bit of losing players. We are so good. Probably should be able to keep everybody at this state. Jalen Hurts not up there though. Neither Saquon. How are we this good? Jalen Hurts played well. 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, but touchdowns, you were doing 10 less, and that's probably at 15 rushing touchdowns. Jesus Christ. If you've seen more rushing touchdowns from a quarterback, I'll show you a liar. I've never seen 15. It's accurate. Those are honestly, last year where he had 40, I don't think Jalen Hurts will ever be the quarterback to get 40 touchdowns. I think this is like a reasonable Jalen Hurts MVP conversation type year. You throw in the rushing yards around 5,000. You throw in the touchdowns, that will take him into the 40 territory. Saquon played well. Obviously, 1,300 yards, 21 touchdowns. AJ Brown, the slot, absolutely feasted. Sorry for the rest of the league, but you made me do it to him. 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. Devontae, don't like seeing Smitty here under 1,000, let alone under 900. Not a great year. Beasley played well. Spellman, the speedster to Wisconsin, definitely chipped in. And superstar Dev, always, always, always. If you're blind pick, which we had to do because last year's draft had butt cheeks, had pass rush, go with the athletes. Axeman Jr., Jeremiah Trotter, over 100 tackles for Saunders. Those had 7 picks. We got 14.5 sacks, Josh Sweat, 10.5 from Dawson, 10.5 from Nolan Smith. Why is Jalen Carter? Why? You're my D tackle one, and you're ahead of Dawson in everything. Yet not. Like, if that was Jalen Carter getting that stat line, I'm over the moon with my production. Why is my X factor kind of getting shortchanged here? 7 picks by Saunders, 5 from Cooper DeJean, 4 from Quinyon. This is the end. There's no way I can't re-sign them. Both those guys have hit for the Philadelphia Eagles. First round pick Mitchell, second round pick, first round talent in DeJean. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Holmes, Jalen Hurts. Runner up, coach of the year goes to Sirianni. 16-1. Goddamn right he did. Offensive player of the year, Hurts loses out to Puka Nacua. Saquon in the top 5. Saunders, runner up for defensive player of the year. Of course, give it to the Cowboy. Josh Sweat in the top 5. Okay. Quarterback of the year does go to Jalen Hurts. Running back of the year goes to Saquon Barkley. Wide receiver of the year, AJ Brown in the top 5. Got 2 and 3 for lineman of the year. Josh Sweat, runner up for D lineman of the year. How did we not get linebackers? 7 picks should be automatic for pardon my French, goddamn. Jake Elliott, runner up for kick of the year. So not a lot of hardware for a 16-1 team, to be honest with you. There we go. Defending Super Bowl champs, 16-1. What are the odds we're one and done? We pull a Dallas Cowboys here. I hope not. But Vikings are not an easy roll. They have a very prolific offense. Addison, Justin Jefferson. They can throw the football on anybody. But we're 16-1. Defending Super Bowl champs will handle our business. Let's go. 27, we're back in the chain. We got the Bears. Caleb Williams, one hell of a rebuild. Not a great game from Jalen Hurts, to be completely honest with you. That is not a standard. That is not our standard. Did go another rushing touchdown. Saquon had a decent game. Beasley, the tight end, has been stepping up in big moments. Defensively, we get a sack from Jalix Hunt, an interception. 8 on the year for Greg Saunders out of Florida State. Best Florida State linebacker Philly's had since Nigel Bradham. There's a name. Here we go. We got the Bears, huh? I'll show the Bears respect. I'll auto-upgrade my players, make sure we put out the best lineup possible. That's a lot of starters that are getting a little bit better this week. And up for this matchup here, trying to get back to another Super Bowl. There's no way. Honestly, we should crush them. This should be 30-17. It is. It's absolute destroy. You know what? 16-1. We're not. This is what happens. This is organic. We're not cheat. Because why would you cheese? Because let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. If my team went 1-16, that's arguably better content. But when you can organically almost go undefeated, that's also good. That's also awesome. That's great for the positivity, the positive vibes. But I don't know. And I don't really get claims that, like, you're cheesing wins and forcing wins and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's good. But it's like the Eagles. When the Eagles are good, when I make my Eagle reaction videos, and this is a great performance here, cross-board 2 picks, Reed Blankenship. When I make my Eagle reaction videos, they were at like an all-time low for the most part when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017. But like when we had the Chip Kelly year where everything was blowing up, that was like the best, most exposure I got on my Eagles content yet. I hate that that's the way it is, to be honest with you. But if we're going to rage here a little bit, let's rage on the fact that, of course, we're back in the Super Bowl and it's a rematch. Against who? Huh? Take a guess. Is it the Dolphins? Is it the Bengals? No. It's him again. And them again. And they're really freaking good. Mahomes went for 55 passing touchdowns. Pacheco over 1,000 yards. Rashee Rice is a monster. They have the #1 offense, #1 pass yards, top almost 5. I'll be generous. Say that's 5 instead of 6 because it sounds better. Rushing offense. Their defense is butt cheeks. We are the much better team. And I will relish every opportunity I can take my super team and go beat up the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. All right, for this one here, again, we'll play the moments. Maybe hop in a little more because we've already got the organic Super Bowl minus 1 rush. One rush first down that we had to get. I really want to see. This is because there's a chance this is the peak of my team. We saw who we can't afford to sign. Even with the restructuring, we might not. This could be Quinyon Mitchell's last year, Josh Sweat's last year, Cooper DeJean's last year, Nolan Smith, who finally freaking broke out last year. So this might be our last chance at a Super Bowl. And as an Eagle fan, I do kind of want to just harness the power of this super team because it's going to be that much more difficult to get back here next year. We got A.J. Brown in the slot, which is just an absolute cheat code because he's got to do that. You're going to put some 180-pound corner on the strongest wide receiver we've seen since like Donald Boston. Or what was it? Dave Boston, whoever it was, that Jack guy from the Panthers. Ohio State's how I more remember him. He was juiced out the gills. Like they never drug tested that guy. That is A.J. Brown. So here we go. We tie it up at 14. We get another chance. 3rd down in Chiefs territory. We'll go mesh something easy, something high percentage. I don't want to get this to Beasley, this tight end. We're in a wide receiver, number 12. That is certainly a number choice if you are a tight end. But you know what? He plays like a receiver. All right, 3rd down. I was kind of hoping we'd get an opportunity here. I'm not going to lie. I want to talk around with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Jalen Hurts deep squat there. He's getting ready to snap the ball. What a Beasley. That should be, I mean, just absolute double coverage on A.J. Brown. Frees up the tight end there. Good read, late read. Probably should have made that sooner. And we are going into halftime. Up a touchdown, 21-14. Defense, there we go. 28-14, putting points on them. 3rd and inches. Let's come out and help them out here again. Send it. Absolutely send it here, baby. Beasley Spellman, the 99 speedster, our new Deshaun Jackson. What can he do? Whoop. Oh, he's just going to get matched up against Leo Chenal, the linebacker, against my 99 speed. That's something Philly would do. That's something that Jonathan Gannon would have done in that Super Bowl loss against the Chiefs. He'd be like, oh, you got Tyreek Hill? Okay, let's put Alex Singleton on him. You know what I'm saying? All the Eagle fans will probably get those references. But there we go. Back-to-back years. Year 3 and year 4. We beat up on the Chiefs. I think everybody, even Dallas Cowboys, maybe not Dallas Cowboy fans, but I'd say Giant fans, Commander fans that play Madden enough. Even you can relish in the fact that I think we all, not Dallas, because they're in that conversation, but we can all appreciate beating up the team that always wins. Let's go. Clean performance, efficient performance, Super Bowl MVP, going to Jalen Hurts, back to back. Can we make it 3 in a row? Don't give it to Sirianni. You ruined Jason Kelsey's last year, you absolute goof. That was an outstanding performance from Jalen Hurts. I think he runs away with MVP. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes did his best to keep pace with us there. He did throw 2 picks. I would love to see it be DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, or my linebacker that had 8 picks on the year. Beasley went off 8. Look at that, just throwing the football around. Maybe not the greatest game for Smitty or Saquon. It's Jeremiah Trotter Jr. gets a pick. Same with DeJean. We get a sack and a half from Nolan Smith. Half sack there from Jalen Carter and Dawson. Sweaty's getting in. So a lot of those guys that could potentially be out of our price range to re-sign this offseason, they go out on a high note here with Philly. And that's our 2nd straight Super Bowl. All right, so I was able to restructure as many people as we possibly could. And that gives us 52. So, I mean, we got DeJean's awesome. So we got to start with DeJean. We're going to give him 5-year. I think we round that up to give it a generous offer. 5-year, $100 million. There we go. We got Quinyon Mitchell who's interested. So I think we might be able to just get him with that. 3 years, 36, done. 23 mil remaining. This is a tough one because Sweat actually earned a contract, but the upside's there with Nolan Smith. We're only going to 1 more year of the rebuild. So I think we go Nolan here. 2-year. 12. What about Trotter? Trotter earned a contract. Look, he went up depth trait. Let's go. All right, we keep Axeman Jr. here. But Devin White, starter. Even though he's regressing, he's still a starter. He's going to be gone. Not the end of the world, but it's still annoying. Josh Sweat's gone. Will Shipley. And we got the option here for Dawson, but we were able to make it mostly work. We have no money for free agency, but again, it's just another opportunity to see how the class is falling, who's going. So Suamadi is almost always there. Going to the final. Lad McConkey, Mason Smith. All right, this is probably the most interesting of all of the classes. A lot of players from that 2024 class just can't get re-signed. All right, not bad. So it's another year. Now, in particular this year, we have to go out and replace Josh Sweat. We need a pass rush. So we are yet once again asking for some pass rushers to get generated here in this class. And, well, there's a 3-4 defensive end. Don't need that. And at right end, we have Ben Hall. I mean, okay, a little bit more here. It's not brutal. We have our 3 extra spots here, so let's focus on the outside linebackers. Just to make sure we cover all our grounds. Sinclair looks like he could be good. 6'6". I mean, let's just go with Howie Roseman, Georgia Bulldog bias right there. But I think we'll be able to get ourselves a nice pass rusher. So now overall, looking at this class, we need a pass rusher. Of course, the one that looks like he's going to be available to us is not a scheme fit at all. So we have Silas Foot. We'd absolutely have to trade up for a finesse move. And the combine's real nice. But it looks like he's going to be going top 10. Mike Shaw could be decent. I mean, it's going to be one of these guys. Because the outside linebackers that we just focus scouted, not great, and not worth trading up for. They're going to be out of our range in the teens. First, second round talents. None of them are big time athletes. So I think Shaw, Beckford, or Smith got to be our guy. Shaw might be the best. A, finesse move. A, pursuit. B, awareness. Pretty decent combine, all things considered. Gonna have to see where he goes in the mock draft, because I might be inclined to trade. We have Beckford. A, power move. B, tackle. Combine. He has elite strength. You always like to see the elite traits. I think consolation, that wouldn't be that bad. Or we have Randy Smith out of UCLA. A, power move, probably pretty similar to the other dude. Combine maybe a little bit better, actually, but he has no elites. I'm thinking Shaw's who we want. Let's see in the mock draft where he's going. See if we can strike a deal. Because I bet you he's going not super high. So obviously we have the last pick. Shaw is oh no. Yeah, I don't know. That's damn. There is one other thing we could do. The best defensive end we got scouted is the D tackle. I mean, you know, could be a DN. Well, let's be honest, he's a D tackle. He's ran a 4.7. I got a plan. Might work, might not work. I got a plan. I would pick 32 in the first round. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to select the best pass rusher available, Jamarcus Evans. And you may say to yourself, C4, not a scheme fit. But we have a guy that just hasn't been performing since he was a defensive end. He's number 12 in true value. This guy actually looks like an absolute stud. And you could play him at DN if we wanted to. So we get Evans, who's a 75 hidden depth. Rest of the draft class wasn't anything crazy. Get a hidden depth here and Akeel Morse. You want to guess how I drafted him? Don't look at his height and don't look at the fact that he has 90 speed. Take another guess, because you were right the first time. That's why we drafted him. Just solid depth. It's year 5. None of these guys are really expected to contribute. Outside of Evans, who I'm going to maybe show my hand of what I'm going to do here. Great athletic profile. If he was 287, I'd be like, that also tracks. We're going to put him at D tackle, where he goes, and his rating should increase from a 75 up to a 77. But where does that leave us for our Josh Sweat successor at defensive end? Well, there's been a player was a real good pass rusher for us when he was a DN and a 3-4. Hasn't been the same. And I don't think anyone would bat an eye if someone just said, oh, the Rams are making Aaron Donald straight up defensive end now. He's not going to play inside, outside. We're going to put on the outside. You could go, oh, that makes sense. That's what we're doing with Jalen Carter. I'm going to move him to defensive end. Definitely has the abilities to play at defensive end. We got 89 pursuit. We got 97 power move, 80 finesse, 82 speed, 89 acceleration, 94 strength. We're going to give him fearmonger. Hopefully we'll help him out a little bit. But little do we know that pass rusher, that Josh Sweat successor, was on the team all along. All right, here we go. Year 5. On the back of 2 straight Super Bowls, what can 98 overall Jalen Hurts muster? He has been incredible. He's won the MVP. He's at his ceiling, probably. But 98, it's almost 99. Real good. Outside of that, let's be honest, that throw power is dog crap. Probably pretty. I'm honestly, I'd give it Hurts. And I'm probably, suspect number 1 that's thrown out enough tweets about Jalen Hurts' new alarm. 86 is still this. Jalen Hurts is like 88, But everything else is on point. His rushing touchdowns are on point. We are seeing regression around him at the skill position. Saquon Barkley has gone from like 90 plus X factor to 84 star in the blink of an eye. That is the sad reality. But moving A.J. Brown back in the slot last year got him back up to his X factor. Of course, that then meant that Devontae Smith didn't pop off, so he's just a superstar. We got Spellman with the speed. Beasley has emerged and developed into very much a surprise, out of nowhere type weapon, putting up, honestly, in 2 years, more than Dallas Goedert. That was almost his entire Eagles career, with no disrespect. Mekhi Becton has definitely developed into a good success for Lane Johnson, the right tackle. Shields won the lineman of the year, which got about the superstar. We got 87, Dickerson, and Mailata have yet to regress. They've been outstanding on that left side of the offensive line. Defensively, we got Nolan Smith, first round pick Evans, Dawson, and Jalen Carter at pass rush. See if that works. See if that can get the most out of Jalen Carter. Linebacking core, you know what? We're going to go with Trotter, Pleasant. Saunders had 8 interceptions last year, including the playoffs. So I'm very excited to see what he can do this season. Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship at safety. We have CJ GJ in the nickel with Cooper DeJean 91 and 89 Quinion Mitchell. Had to move mountains to get these guys to re-sign and make the salary cap work, but we were able to find a way to do so. And overall, very optimistic that our 90 overall back-to-back Super Bowl champion Eagles will at least give us a chance to three-peat here in year 5. How do you start the three-peat season? Well, you get Dallas week 1, you beat the brakes off them, and let's just, at this point, it's Jalen Hurts. 477 yards to throw the pick. I guess we have to be a little cynical, but 477, 4 touchdowns against Dallas. Hell of a way to start the year, kid. And we get to year 5. Wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be honest with you. We do lose against Carolina and get a chance for revenge. That we had a player of the week against the Panthers. It was Nolan Smith, 10 tackles, 3 sacks, and a chance to avenge that loss right away. But 10-7 is a little light. We went 16-1 last year. Only really lost. I mean, our rankings are still outstanding. You know, offense and defense, we are top 5-ish. Jalen Hurts played well, but 10-7. At least we got another NFC East title. 3 in the rebuild, 3 in a row. Which, I mean, that's a thing, right? No repeat NFC East champs for the last, what? Since 2000? Since I was pretty much watching football. So that's good. And it looks like Jalen Hurts played pretty well. Maybe not MVP outright, but we got 4,400 yards passing, 38 touchdowns, only 4 picks. Definitely, I mean, 10 less rushing touchdowns than what we got, but 5 and 5, 1,013 from Saquon. Our team's showing its age a little bit. I think that's fair to say. We get 2,000-yard receivers in A.J. Brown, Devontae. 71 catches, 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. 11-6 for A.J. Brown. Almost 1,010 for the speedster Spellman. Beasley with 8 and 6. Really happy with those numbers. Defensively, Saunders, I mean, interceptions are variable, but, you know, from 7 in the regular season to 1, it's a little bit of a steep drop up. But look, Jalen, that's a regret. I should have just made him a pass rusher right away. Kept him at DN. 71 tackles, 10 TFLs, 15 sacks, 14 from Nolan's. Another one. Like, maybe, you know, it was scheme change and stuff like that, but like we are getting more with Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith the last 2 years pass rush, more so Nolan Smith than we got at a Huff, and it is what it is. Dawson, 11 TFLs with 7 sacks. We got Evans. I don't even know if he played enough to show his day. It's superstar Dev. Oh shit. Okay, that's a hell of a pick. What about the interception numbers? Those have been pleasantly decent throughout. Chauncey Johnson led the team with 4. We got 2 from Cooper, 2 from Sidney Brown, none from Quinion. That's a little harsh. Jalen Hurts runner-up for MVP. And our only award winner was Jalen Hurts getting quarterback of the year in the NFC. So as we always like to do in our rebuilds, let's see where our players are at in their careers after our 5 years with them. Jalen Hurts had 32,000 yards passing, 244 touchdowns, 61 picks, 69% completion percentage. Also has an MVP and 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVP awards to go along with it. Saquon, obviously most, I wouldn't say most, but at this point, like a lot of that is like 70-30 with the Giants still 11,000 yards rushing, 120 touchdowns. He's, you know, since I've been a YouTuber, one of the pound for pound best running backs consistently in the sim. So we honor him. Jalen Hurts, 5,500 yards rushing, 86 rushing touchdowns is absurd for a quarterback to get. And I mean, like, obviously a lot of those are the tush-push IRL numbers, but he had 15 rushing. I've never seen that in a quarterback. Even Lamar might get over 1,000 yards. That's not that crazy, but he never has like more than like 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. 15 for Hurts is ridiculous. So Jalen Hurts is like just under 40,000 total yards and well over 300 touchdowns. So that's pretty awesome. Receiving, we have 753 catches, 11,000. Better not say 11,000 yards for A.J. Brown, 87 touchdowns. We have 8,700 yards, 76 touchdowns for Devontae Smith. I think generally we've done a great job trying to get the balance between these guys. And I think if you would take the average of these 5 years, they both probably averaged, maybe not so much on the touchdown front, But 1,000 yards a season, which was a goal of mine. Saquon as a receiver, solid. Beasley's been, honestly, stole the show. Out of all the guys, I expected Devontae to do well. I hoped A.J. Brown would do well. But Beasley was like, oh, normal dev, first round pick. Meh. Goddard never really ate. And then he just came on and was maybe the X factor for this offense, all things considered. Defensively, CJ GJ has the most tackles. Reed Blankenship right there with him. We got 49 sacks, 66 TFLs from Jalen Carter, 27 sacks, Nolan Smith, 25.5 from Dawson. Would have been probably cool to see what Josh Sweat was at when he called it quits. We got 20 picks, CJ GJ, 13 from DeJean, 12 from Quinyon Mitchell, 11 from Sidney Brown. So that young secondary that we started back in year one, keeping them all together for 5 years, has definitely paid dividends for the Eagles on the back end of our defense. Saunders had 7 of those in 1 year. Reed Blankenship, will never forget him just going from normal dev and then through dev trade scenarios in X Factor in year one. Absolutely ridiculous. And he's kept it. You know, he hasn't put up like ridiculous. No, he's been solid. I would say solid is the fairest way. He has not faced any dev trait regression. Went off these couple years and then just hasn't lost it. And I'm looking at the numbers. I don't know how. I'm not saying he's playing bad, but it's, you know what? It's just, it's kind of like Madden, where Madden still has guys in real life, base roster, that have X factors that have no reason having them. So now that we're done reminiscing, let's focus on year 5, trying to make it 3 Super Bowls in a row. We got the Carolina Panthers, who just beat us in we're on a 2-game losing streak right now. So this could be a wet fart way to end a very successful rebuild, or we could find a way to keep it on. We win. We get a player of the week performance from who else? Jalen Hurts, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns as we dispose of the Carolina Panthers in the first round. That was a close game. Panthers sneaky, keeping that one competitive. Luckily, Hurts played clean. Bryce Young, got those 2 interceptions. Quinyon and Saunders, hell yeah. In the division round, we get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had a hell of a season. 13-4 for the Bucs. Top 10 offense, top 3 passing yards. Okay. They don't have Baker Mayfield. They have Jay Brown, who had 37 touchdowns. Interesting. I'll show them respect. I mean, it could be our last game, so we'll make sure we put our best team out there. And Tampa Bay has been a team since I've been a fan. Eagles have not had the best playoff success. You had the Rondé Barber interception game. You had last year, a.k.a. the end of Jason Kelsey's era. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. So let's see. That's bad. And we handle business. I love it. And we're in the NFC Championship game. Caleb Williams and the Bears are like peaking right now. So that's an interesting. I think we hop in and watch that one. I'm not going to say we have to play the moments, but that should be a good one. The Bears are finally, Roma Dunze's there. Jalen Johnson. They got Mark Andrews. Caleb Williams is a 98 overall. Almost flew 40 touchdowns. They are a really, really nice program there. We went ugly over Tampa Bay. Is that overtime? Overtime win. Wow. Modest game from Jalen Hurts. I mean, he did have 2 touchdowns. I mean, nothing too crazy. Saquon gets the touchdown in the backfield. A.J. Brown almost 100 yards. Axeman Jr. led the team in tackles. Nolan Smith with a sack. Greg Saunders with a pick. I love everyone showing up. And now it is time. NFC Championship game. Eagles, Bears, where you at? That should be a good one, man. I've said on record, as a neutral, Chicago's a franchise that I'd be totally fine becoming really good in the landscape in real life of the NFL. Always kind of like Monsters of the Midway, Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Devin Hester at that era, Sexy Rexy, Rex Grossman, Florida Gator. I think as a neutral, and this might not score me a lot of points with like Viking, Packer, Lion fans, but like Bears, at worst, I think almost everybody can agree Chicago deserves having like a good quarterback for once. So I hope Caleb Williams works out. I think he will. And we got a snow game here, which you think should favor Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. Running the football, Jalen Hurts, tucking and running. Not a sensational showing here, but we have a chance to tie this one up going to halftime, which we do. And we have that playoff pedigree that, Chicago, this is the first time they've been here. I've seen Green Bay. We've seen Dallas. Haven't seen Chicago go deep playoff run, and you're going up against a back-to-back Super Bowl winner. Right there, instant touchdown. That's what you want to see. Chicago marching down the field. They get a field goal. Minute 13. for Jalen Hurts to end this rebuild. Do we get another Super Bowl, or are we going to fall to Caleb Williams, the new era? Oh, wow. We're going overtime. Second overtime game of the playoffs. Marching down the field. A settle for a field goal. We miss it. No. It's karma from the double doink. Jalen Carter can't believe this is how it ends. 3 straight NFC championship games to end it. Can't be too greedy, man. You know, it wasn't like we absolutely fly. I mean, Jalen Hurts played outstanding. 351 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did have 2 picks. And I will say, for a snow game, 38 and 41. That is a little high for the passing attempts. Should have for Saquon should have that should be opposite. Saquon should have 30 rush attempts. Look at that. Devontae Smith lost a fumble. So 3 turnovers, even though he went off. Devontae, 7 catches, 185 yards, 3 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, very quiet game. Defensively, 2 TFLs and a sack from Nolan Smith. Who I'm glad we could have just given up on him. Glad we didn't. He was very good. Dawson and Evans getting after it. No turn. I mean, just looks like it's a 3-1 turnovers. No, we had 2. So he recovered his fumble. But there you go. That's the difference. In an overtime field goal game, the team with 2 turnovers is probably going to lose more often than not. Damn. With that being said, that is how we're going to wrap this one up here today. Very successful Eagles rebuild. Not necessarily shocked. I think, you know, the plan is to rebuild all 32 teams, and eventually we'll get to like the Chiefs and the Cowboys and the Ravens. And expectations are those. It's going to be multiple Super Bowls versus when you take a couple team, building them up into a contender, maybe getting a shot at 1. And I think we were able to accomplish that here. 3 NFC championship games to close it out. 2 Super Bowl wins. We saw everyone perform at a reasonably high level that we needed to. Had to take a little bit on the defense. Had to bail on the Vic Fangio 3-4. That was the best thing that we did. Definitely has the guys playing at a high level. Got to see the draft picks, the exciting young players on Philly eventually contribute. Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Sidney Brown, Axeman Jr. You know? So that was cool. I think all in all, very successful rebuild. Had to get these Eagles rebuild in before kickoff here on Friday. Cannot wait. It's going to be a huge game. Green Bay is legit. You know, if you're ranking top 5 teams in the NFC, you got to put the Packers in that top 5. I mean, right now, biasly, Philly 1, probably San Fran 2, especially because it looks like they got Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams back. That 3rd team, Detroit. 4th team, probably Green Bay, right? You'd have to, I don't know. You know, the rankings obviously can fluctuate, unbiased, bias. Philly, I think Philly, Detroit, and San Francisco, like universally, are going to be in the top 3. I think you got to go Green Bay number 4. That's a huge game. Why are we wasting that in Brazil with like bad air conditions, like forest fires and shit that's going to make it hard to breathe? Why are we in Brazil for that one? Like, remember when the international games were like, I remember they used to have them in Canada. It was like the Bills would play one home game, and it was always Buffalo versus like the Jags when the Jags were at. It was always Buffalo's worst home game went to Canada. Why is Brazil getting like a marquee NFC matchup? I don't know. But with that being said, fellas, please let me know in the comment section below which team we should rebuild next here in Madden 25. Next video, not 100% sure. Probably I'm going to try to get the second episode of our College Football 25 Offensive Coordinator Dynasty, year 2 with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers underway. And obviously we will have more Vikings franchise, more college football rebuilds. But let me know right here today which team in the NFL should be our next Madden rebuild. And if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Getting very close to 175,000 subscribers here on the channel. It'd be cool to hit that milestone sooner rather than later. Hit the like button, which helps out the channel with the YouTube robots. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.